Hi, this is Deborah Atkinson, founder of the Voice for Fitness. And if you're frustrated about your diet or your nutrition and your exercise, or not so much those things as the lack of results that you're now all of a sudden getting from them, I totally understand where you're coming from. So most of the women who I know who either are approaching menopause, in menopause, or just after it, in other words, they're late 40s, early 50s, maybe 50, like me, celebrating that birthday with a little remorse, or maybe for you, it didn't happen until you were closer to 60. But you're noticing all of a sudden what's always worked as far as nutrition and exercise for you isn't working anymore. And any changes that you're trying to make, you're trying to eat more protein, you try to drink more water, you try to get more exercise, and then that's a fine line, because as you get more exercise, you have little aches and pains or niggly little injuries that show up more frequently and that give you a setback that makes you a little bit less able to get to the goals you had in the first place. All that happening at a time in your life when you've got things pretty well under control. You should be enjoying the fruits of your career. Maybe you've raised a family, and if that's true, they're probably at a point where they're much more independent and you actually like them and you like spending time with them and want to enjoy them a little bit more, but you want to feel really good about yourself and you're not quite where you want to be. Well, first of all, you're not alone. So self-included, after 30 years in the fitness industry and as a health coach, as a master trainer for personal trainers, even I, at the age of 50, experience a little bit of, the exercise program I used to do doesn't work so much anymore. I have to be a little bit sharper on my nutrition game. And then there are about 5 other things that come into play. And I know that if you're frustrated right now, you're willing to try and maybe have tried just about anything. So you've really restricted calories. You've tried to eat more frequently. You've tried less frequently. Nothing seems to bump you off of that plateau or give you results that are lasting and that leave you with more energy and feeling good, so you want to do the things you want to do. You're not alone, first of all. I can tell you that 5 of the last women I've met with in the last month have almost all been between the ages of 50 and 56 and said exactly the same thing. Where did this come from? It wasn't here yesterday, and how do I get rid of it? I've always exercised, or maybe I haven't always exercised, but I've always been lean, and then suddenly I'm not, and that's really bothering me. And it's relative to you. So in terms of you complaining to somebody else, they may not get it because you look pretty good compared to them. But if you're not feeling your 100%, you don't have the confidence that you would have. You don't have the energy that you probably would have. So if those describe anything that you're feeling or going through, you need to have a change in the approach to what you're doing. And I have that change. After 30 years of interviewing people, watching who's successful and who's not in aging well with the shape and the energy that they want, I've learned a little bit about what works and what doesn't. Combine that with recent research that we now know kind of disrupts some of that pattern that we learned in the last 30 years about nutrition and about exercise. Some of it never really worked for us. We just had youth and metabolism on our side. Now that we don't, we need to pay attention to some of that research. And it's not going to be easy because our habits and really our thought habits are pretty strong. But it's time to try. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to click and enter my email list. You're going to get access immediately after you confirm to a checklist that will tell you the areas that are important for you to look at. It's not just exercise, but it's deep in the kind and intensity and not of exercise that you need. It's about nutrition, but it's about some very specific content and quality and timing pieces of your nutrition. And then it's about 5 other categories that you may not realize come into play and feed into each other. You need to consider them all in an integrated way, not just listen to an exercise specialist about exercise or a nutritionist about nutrition or other specialists about their area, but you need to bring them all together. And that's what I'm going to help you do. So enter your name and your email here, and I will see you on the other side.